All right, so we here. Non-essential workers have been ordered to stay home. Children are not going to school. People are laid off work. And the news is spinning all types of foolishness and got you all over the place. Anxiety is on the rise, as is your insomnia. So what do? This is the 12th episode of the How to Be Magical podcast entitled The Essentials. Let's get into it. Hey, y'all. It is Nikki Buchanan, the owner of Soul Things Botanica, your one-stop shop for herbs, waters, incense, and more. And you are listening to the How to Be Magical podcast, where we talk about things black, magical, fun. And today's episode is entitled The Essentials. The last episode was about the coronavirus, COVID-19, just some things that we should keep in mind. Look to our ancestors and how they would have handled these things. And I want to take it a step further in this episode and talk about what are the essentials that we need and how can we start to look at the things that we already have, right? This is not about scrambling and go out and run and do and procure things that you don't have already. This is about, well, how do you make the most of what you have and how do we take stock of these things? I know this week, the last 2 weeks have been like nerve wracking for a lot of people, and I get it. You know, I'm not gonna bullshit y'all. It is concerning, you know. However, I think that when we are talking about working these traditional African practices and lineages and tapping into these ancestral mysteries, we have to realize that the reason why these things persevered is because our ancestors knew how powerful it was and they used it when they needed it. It was not a poppy show. It was not to stunt on the neighbor. It was not to look good and look like you was doing it if you wasn't doing it. It was about, yo, this shit works and this is how we got over. This is how we made it through. And this is how we persevered, you know? So we have to keep in mind that energy, the intention and the work that was done, like that was placed into keeping these traditions alive, and how when we are called, and now we are being called, right? This is a time where you need to get in your section and assemble your tribe and understand that we all have a place in this. And this is not about looking good. This is about working, you know? There is nobody that's going to be able to tell me that what I got don't work, right? And it's not about me being validated or invalidated by anybody's outside opinion, but it's more so about me feeling settled and grounded in who I am and secure in that and trusting in that and not really wavering from that, especially in a time when we get in, like I said, the news is telling you everything, but they ain't saying shit, right? So we got to pick and choose. We got to pick sense out of nonsense. We got to really think critically. Like I had posted on my story, Erykah Badu posted on her page the other day, like, think while it's still illegal. You know, before they take that away from you too, make sure you are thinking and using your own mind, and make sure you are actually thinking and not just processing information, because there's a difference between ingesting messages and actually picking apart the things that, you know, and coming to some understanding about it, so that way you can properly understand how it is relevant in your life. Okay? Because everything that's being said on the news is not the truth. We already know that. And we already know how the media works. And we are active participants in the media. This is not to say, oh, it's them versus us. This is not about that. This is about how do we take responsibility and ownership for how we're showing up in the situation and what are we deeming essential, right? So I have made a list, and I feel like when we talk about essentials, we're going to talk about things to calm, talk about things to cleanse, to protect, to attract, to conceal, heal, and to nourish, right? So your basic essential is to nourish, right? That was when everybody's running out to the supermarket buying all type of food and ting. Here's the deal. You want to make sure you have a good food in your system at this moment. Yeah, indulge in your snacks. Yeah, you know, let your sweet tooth run a little wild, but make sure that we are employing some type of discipline with ourselves. We know that we can't be running out to the store just on a whim to get things. Make sure you're properly making a plan of action before you get to the store. Okay, I'm going to pick this up. I'm picking that up. I'm picking this up. This is a time when we got to plan. This is a time when we got to stretch our money, right? We don't know when everything is going to be back on target. In the meantime, we need to make sure that we have the things that we need so that way we can properly make good decisions for ourselves and our families. You can't do that if you ain't eating right, okay? You can't do that if you're dehydrated. You can't do it if you're tired. So I understand that a lot of us have been dealing with insomnia I'm going to tell you right now, it's been very hard for me to get to sleep. I am an early bird, so usually I'll turn in a little earlier, but lately I've been staying up later and later and trying, tossing and turning and trying to let myself rest. But it's been like, every time when I feel like I want to go to sleep, I get hit with some more information from my dad. And I'm like, okay, I'm writing things down. I'm keeping the log of what's happening, what they're chiming in on. I'm keeping myself, making sure that I keep myself calm and make sure that I keep myself in a clear space so that I can receive the messages. I can't receive anything if my mind is clouded by smoking too much, drinking too much, and overindulging in food, overindulging in media that's not really doing anything but distracting me, So I have been reading mad books, I read so many books. I shared some of the books that have helped me on my journey on my page, and one of the books that I've been rereading, and I mean, I got all kind of post-it notes on it, is The Parable of the Sower. And I was going to make this episode about The Parable of the Sower, but since this is the last episode of season 1 of the How to Be Magical podcast, I wanted to end with something that we, just to kind of close out the season. And I'll start off the next season, and we're going to get into this book, girl, y'all, boys, everybody who's listening. You're going to want to get into this book with me. It's a damn good read, and it's something to just keep our minds in concert about what is going on out here, right? So I'm nourishing my mind and my spirit with things that are edifying, things that are making me think a little differently, things that are helping me to stay clear, things that are helping me to stay pragmatic in a time when, I can't make too many rash decisions about my money right now, right? We got to be mindful of our bread. We got to be mindful of our consumption of all things, physical, spiritual, and emotional, okay? So nourish yourself. Do you have what you need? And if you got to take a little bit of time to sit with yourself and say, hey, what do I really need? And take stock of what you need, how you use things that you have, and how to make sure that the things that you have are of the highest quality that you can afford and are of the utmost valuation in your life, that add the most value to your life, right? Like I said, we need to calm ourselves. So meditation is great right now. Even if it's just 5 minutes in the morning giving thanks, that is a form of meditation. If it's a little bit of yoga that you could do, follow somebody on YouTube, do a nice little yoga morning stretch just to get the body moving, right? Go do a home workout to get the blood pumping. When I was feeling some type of way this week and I was feeling a little bit overwhelmed, Lulu Strings did a live Zumba class, and I happened to catch it. I didn't catch the second one because I was in the middle of dealing with some things with my family, but I caught the first one and I sweated it out. And I kid you not, I felt so much more peaceful and at ease after doing that workout. Just moving the body around, just letting some of those pent up emotions that's coming up, right? When you feel something in your body and an emotion, if you don't give it a proper channel and avenue to flow, it blocks up. It starts to back up. It's like anything, right? So if you don't have any proper channels, to fully address things, all you're doing is prolonging the inevitable, right? So if you're feeling stressed, maybe this is the time when you just start to examine, what are your coping mechanisms? What are your go-tos coping mechanisms? And are they helpful and productive in this time, right? If your go-to is, I'm going to smoke a L, right? Think about that. And if you find yourself reaching for certain things more frequently, then you got to start to even have more self-reflection and think about, okay, am I doing this because I'm avoiding something? Is this really helping me right now? Can I go without this right now? We're going to have to start really thinking about our discipline, because we're talking about, I'm in New York. I'm going to just keep it real with y'all. I'm in New York. I'm in Brooklyn. People are still out and about. Yes, there has been a significant drop in people on the street. However, people still at the park. People still at the beach. People doing like so much because they're getting cagey. But you don't want the government to tell you what to do. You don't want them to have to bring in some National Guard to tell you to go back in your house. You ain't gonna like that. Before it gets to that point, exercise some self-discipline. Because like I always said in earlier episodes, even when you get into reading, you don't want that to be the first time somebody gotta tell you about yourself, because you're gonna be mad. You're gonna be pissed. And if they right or wrong, indifferent, it don't matter. You should be on your own case right now. Not so hard that you're making yourself, crippling yourself, but be mindful of what you're doing, okay? You need to be able to cleanse yourself. That means keeping your home clean. That means keeping your body clean. That means exercising social distance when you go out. That means making sure that certain things are covered, making sure you're washing your hands, making sure you're disinfecting and decontaminating yourself when you come back in your yard, okay? In terms of your spiritual cleanliness, this is a time to ramp things up. Turn it up. Whatever you're doing, do it twice as hard if you can. Push yourself, right? There's all kinds of ways that we could clean and cleanse ourselves. You could do smoke cleansing, right? That's where you take your charcoal round and whatever thing you want to use to light on fire on that charcoal. You can put cedar chips. Cedar wood is good for cleansing and protection. Rosemary is good for cleansing and protection, right? Frankincense is good for, fortifying. These are the things. Palo Santo is good for restoring a vibe. But before you use a Palo Santo stick, make sure that you go in and use something to clean it up first, right? You don't want to spray perfume on shit. That's not what we're trying to do. What we're trying to do is clean things and keep them get yourself in a regimen. Floor washes are another good thing. You could boil up the same herbs and whatever that you would use to make a bath, put a little bit in your mop water and sweep and make sure everything is nice and swept and mop your house from the back of the house to the front of the house. The same thing when you do smoke cleansing. Smoke your house out from the back of the house to the front of the house. Make sure that you have the windows. Make sure you got the windows open. Make sure you got your front door open. And make sure that there's a flow. Because as you do it from back to front, all of that stuff is like sweeping things out the door. Make sure the door's open and give it a little room. Let it breathe. Okay? After you cleanse, then you want to make sure you're protecting yourself. You want to make sure that you are erecting boundaries. This can go in so many ways. Make sure that you are protecting yourself from people who literally just want to hit you up to spread fear-mongering news, right? There's one thing to share an article here and there. We got some of these people that you would think they work for CNN, the way they report in the news back. Are they thinking about what they're sending you, or are they just sending you shit in a panic? And don't be so quick to react to them neither. But tell them, hey, you know what? I know that you're trying to be helpful, but this is not really helping me right now. So, and then be honest about how people can support you in this time. Homegirl of mine from Facebook, Reesh asked me, how can you be supported? We had a nice conversation with each other about what kind of things do we need in this time? How do we want the community to step up for us? How are we prepared to step up for the community? We have to be honest with ourselves about what we need. And needs versus want. Not what you want, what you need. What do you need to get through this moment? What do you need to protect yourself right now? To protect yourself from germs, you need to make sure that everything is cleanly and on point. To protect yourself from negativity and vibes, you need to be acknowledging who is bringing that energy towards you and what you are doing to maybe court that energy inadvertently or on purpose, right? It's not always about the things that we do consciously. Sometimes some of our unconscious habits can produce, some things that attract things that we're not really, that we don't really need. Are you calling people to check on them genuinely? Just call people and just say, hey, how you doing? Ask about their family. Ask about how they're feeling in this time. As much as they say that we are supposed to be social distancing, I'm finding that in the past couple of weeks, I have been connected with people more than ever. I feel blessed to have connections with people, to check in with people, got people checking in with me. This is what we need. We need to understand that regardless of what's going on in the outside world, we have community. We have structures set up. They might not be the best, most airtight, but this is our time to really evaluate what it is. What's edifying you right now? Go with that. What's fortifying you right now? Stick with that. Protect yourself. Red brick dust, the hoodoo swear by it, and it's true. Some things, like, we need to start thinking about just the little simple things that we could do to protect. Wash your windows down. Wash your floors put a little ammonia in the mop water for protection and reversing any negativity that may be coming your way. Put a little ammonia outside your door and on your windowsills, just as like a little barrier. And then also think about your physical protections, right? As women, if you're going out and about, be mindful of where you park in your car. Be mindful of what time of day you go in places. Be mindful of your surroundings. Be alert. If you have a weapon, carry that bitch. I'm telling you right now, don't be waiting for somebody to pull up on you. And don't be taken off guard. Be very wary and cautious at this time. When we got people who's out of work, when we got people who ain't got nothing to keep their minds and their bodies occupied, fuckery agwan. Trust me. Idle mind is a devil's workshop. We don't need to be idle right now, but we need to be mindful of those who are. Not to judge them, but just to know where the motherfuckers is at. Be like, okay, I see you over there, and I'm gonna keep it pushing. I'm not judging you, but I'm just keeping my eye on you. Okay, this is not about being paranoid. I think a lot of the times people hear too much and they get overwhelmed and paranoia starts to set in. I feel you, fam. I be going through my own shit. I be in my own bag sometimes. And I'm here to tell you that to be vigilant and cautious and mindful of your surroundings is not being paranoid. It's being smart. Because at the end of the day, your ancestors' job is not to protect you from yourself. It's to keep all that shit off you so you can manifest the destiny that you're here to manifest. They cannot stop you from being self-destructive. They can keep you alive as long as you got to work with. You got to give them something to work with. So they are always working with you to keep you alive because it's in their best benefit to keep you alive, keep the family going, keep the blood going. You got to give them something to work with as well. Are you making sure that your table is clean? Your altar spaces are clean? Do you have light for your people? Are you putting food to them? Right? We got to strengthen them at this time. Are they getting the rum that they need? Are they getting the spirits that they need? Are they getting the prayers that they need? Are they getting the elevation that they need? That's your first line of defense. If you're not initiated, all you got is Egun and ancestors guiding you, then that's who you need to be piping up right now. You need to make sure that they have everything that they need to do what needs to be done. Okay? Let me say something. I eat, they eat. They got their own bowl, they got their own cup, they got their own everything. I make my plate before I even fix my food. Their food goes on the table. Because they the ones who's making sure that everything is all right. I'm checking my glasses every day. If that water starts to get cloudy, whoop, everything getting freshened up. Keep everything at the highest level of cleanliness. The reading of the year talks about Grand Osogbo, right? World management. Like this is the themes of this year. Global management. Burying the dead, right? Ochun and Obatala are the governing Orisha for the year. Obatala is about the white cloth. It's about staying as pure as possible. Avoiding alcohol, right? Don't be getting too fucked up, okay? I had a little wine in here. I was like, that might be it for me for a while. I don't need to drink. I need my mind to be clear. Okay, whatever rum and liquor I got in here, I got some overproof. My dead get it. They need it. I don't need to drink right now, right? I could put my needs off for a minute to make sure that I'm taking care of my things that I need to take care of, right? So after I make sure that we fortified and protected, now we have to think about what is it that we're trying to attract? What do we want to attract? We want to attract the people and the things that are going to help us in this situation. We want to be attractive to others who are resourceful and looking to be a resource to you and vice versa. We want to make sure that we are presenting ourselves in the most accurate light, keeping ourselves as clear with ourselves as possible so that way we can project who we are for real. Because this is the time when you're not going to be able to just look and scroll and see who's doing it. You need to know. You need to be able to call people, say, hey, how you doing? And you need to listen to what they're telling you. If they telling you that they literally just waiting for this shit to pass, and in their mind, they're just like, oh, it's some bullshit, and they not really taking it. Measure your commitment to people right now by how they dealing with their commitment to themselves. You got to show up committed to yourself. You want to make sure you in accord with other people who are showing up committed to themselves, committed to what's happening here. And I'm not talking about just a virus. I'm talking about the fact that the economy has come to a halt. When this shit reboots, it's not going to come back the same way. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. They created a new currency, the U.S. digital dollar. Please go look it up. It's not the same thing as the U.S. dollar. The U.S. digital dollar is going to be how they give out that stimulus package. They did that because they understand that everybody in America don't have a bank account. But everybody that's eligible is going to get this money because they want us to keep reinvesting money into this system. However, know that they've created something new. They're already on a new system. So get acquainted with the fact that some of the old ways of doing shit is not really going to be applying moving forward. And think about the people that you're talking to, speaking with, having conversations with, see where their mind is at. Are they still focused on the bullshit? Are they still going out partying, turning up in the time when it's like, maybe you need to stay your ass home, right? Are they still thinking, are they on Fantasy Island right now? Don't even chastise. Don't even argue. See that shit and move in your older corners to how you gotta move. Go to your own dead. Go to your table. Go to your cards. Call your godparents. Get your consultations. Get your readings. You're going to need very specific information right now in order to move and do the things that you need to do. This is not a one-size-fits-all. You're going to need to go to whoever your spiritual elders are and ask them for guidance right now. And then when they give you the information, you still take time and sit with yourself and process that and say, okay, how are we going to make this work? You need very specific things that work right now. You do not need a one-size-fits-all, everything's going to be okay outlook on life. That's cute for the masses. That's real cute. I like that. Keep it light. However, understand that when you trying to do real work with yourself, a lot of us have feelings that are not totally validated right now by mainstream media, and that's cool. You don't need to be accepted with everybody. You don't need to be in the herd with everybody. Know that there's going to be a time when you have to stand on your own too, and you have to stand up for what you believe in. Do you feel strong enough to do that? That's why I said, make sure you're nourished. Make sure you're calm, because we are being called right now. This is a time when we are being reminded of who we are, what we're made of, and where we're going, and that we do have the power to create whatever type of life that we want, even within this paradigm that we're living in, because that's how our ancestors lived. No matter what was happening, they still had their own life, and they had their own way of moving through it. They used these tools and they used these spiritual practices to help them deal with the bullshit that was outside. They was all right. It was the bullshit that they had to confront. It's the slavery and the degradation and the sharecropping and the Jim Crow and the police and the KK. It's all them things when them have a fight. They wasn't fighting with themselves. They knew who they was. So don't find this time to start fighting with yourself. Make peace with yourself. That's why you put your whites on. That's why you wear your whites. Not to put on for everybody on the internet. Because when you put your whites on so that way you are able to stay in accordance and clear, and you can hear the things that's being told to you, because it's a lot of information going around. But you only need to know the stuff that's pertinent to you. You need very specific things. Go book your readings. Book your readings. Go to the mat. Go to Ifa. Go to the Nganga. Go to the pot. Go to the oracle. Go. I'm not telling you to wait around. I'm telling you to go to the people that's going to be able to give you the very direct, pertinent information that's going to help you in this moment right now. That's what you need. You need specific shit. You don't need no one size fits all. So even the things that I'm telling you is very general, but like I said, at the end of the day, God got the last word. The dead gonna have they say. Let them speak. Okay, let them speak. We're gonna need to be able to conceal some things right now. We can't openly share some of these things that we sharing on social media. We can't. It's all being monitored and controlled. Be mindful of what you're posting on Instagram. Be mindful of what you're posting on Facebook. Don't be too loud about certain things. You don't want to be a target. At the end of the day, a lot of these practices was practiced in secret because they was persecuted. And if anybody even knew that they knew something and they had some type of power, they was ready to come and extinguish it. Think about that. Ain't much change. Ain't much change. It might be cute and trendy to show all your work. Don't show all your work. Don't show all your candle work. Don't show everybody all your cards. Learn how to employ a little bit of secrecy right now. Have certain conversations in person. Have them on FaceTime. Don't start talking too openly in public forums like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Don't do it. Don't do it. A lot of people have been saying this for months. A lot of big names in social justice work and in the spiritual community have been saying for months, yo, my stuff is getting censored. Nobody can see what I'm saying. I'm getting blocked. I'm getting post blocked. I'm getting banned. I'm shadow banned. That's not by accident. I'm paying attention to what's happening. I'm listening to what people are saying. They watching. They are watching. Please keep some of your shit to yourself. Please, especially if it's powerful. Please. Tell the people, keep your own counsel with your confidants. Know who the people that you can trust with very pertinent, sensitive information are. That's not the whole internet. That's not everybody in the DMs. That's not everybody in the comments. Don't be going back and forth with people about certain shit. Let people stand where they at for right now. You need to just observe what's going on. Don't be so reactionary. Don't be so quick to post everything. Exercise a little caution right now. Okay? Also, all right? We also have to think about how we could heal ourselves if something happens. So that's why I have posted about the tonics and things you can start drinking to keep your body strong. You know, I started this thing in the morning, every morning. I gargle, my throat with warm water, apple cider vinegar, lemon, cinnamon, and honey. The apple cider vinegar is good for cutting mucus, as is the lemon. The warmth, you need the warmth to kind of break things up. If you don't want to let anything settle into your chest. You need to keep things warm. Cinnamon is also a warming herb. It's good. It's a good warming herb. And honey is an antiseptic. So it kills germs. So even after this, I'm rinsing and spitting and gargling and all that, the honey is still there to kind of kill off residual things. Up your garlic intake. Fresh garlic. Cook with it more. Steam it down into a tea. It don't even taste the greatest, but it's good for your body. It's good to keep things in an active state. It's good to keep you nice and strong. Okay? Good to keep you nice and strong. So make sure that you are thinking about the ways that you can heal yourself. Do your internal work right now. Shadow work is great right now. You can't go outside, go within. Start confronting some of this shit that you got with yourself. It's not easy. I'm not going to tell you it's easy. I'm telling you that the most valuable investment thing that you can invest in right now is you. And the only way that you can invest in you is if you know where you fucking up. If you know where you still triggered. If you know where you have unaddressed issues. So there's a lot of mental health professionals that have been, a lot of city agencies have been saying, if you need to talk to somebody, you can call this line, call that line. Make sure that you are literally taking care of your mind. Your mind is your ori. Your head is where your ori lies. You need to keep your ori clear. You need to address some of the things that may have hindered you from fully realizing who you are. That's where we do our shadow work. That's where we start answering ourselves some of these questions, the painful questions, and then we deal with it. We have to acknowledge it. We have to feel and move through. Don't fight it. Okay? Acknowledge the discomfort. If anything is making you uncomfortable or is causing you any type of uneasiness, acknowledge what that is. Don't let it rock. Tackle it. These are the best things that we could do for ourselves right now. The best things. Okay? Separating our wants from our needs. Acknowledging our privileges. We all have some type of privilege. No matter how you may feel, acknowledge whatever privileges you may have. If you have a piece of property, if you have a stable home, if you have food, if you have income still coming in, if you have family that's close by, these are all privileges. If you have a vehicle and work in order, if you have a craft, a trade, these are all things that we have. These are all blessings. These are the things that we have to take not for granted, but to understand why are they valuable? Where would their value lie in a new system? What are your coping mechanisms? Like I said, address your coping mechanisms, address your emotional responses and triggers to things. You don't want to be too easily swayed by anything right now. You want to be able to see something, acknowledge it, take what you can from it, and keep it pushing. You don't want to ingest too much. So turn that TV off sometimes. Don't go to sleep with the news on. Don't go to sleep with the news on. And do something for your mind that calms it down. Do something for your body that helps you channel your energy and your anger and your emotions or whatever it is that you may be feeling. There's a lot of people feeling things right now. A lot. And I get it. And my heart goes out to everyone because I want us to realize that we do have power and we do have knowledge. And we might not know how to connect all the dots all the way, but that's where we put it on the altar. That's where we ask Egun to guide us. When we get to these places where we don't know exactly what the next step is, that's when we get divination. And we say, okay, I don't know what's going on. Help me. Show me. All of y'all who have a bit of clairvoyance, who have a bit of psychic vision, who have those dreams. Like I said, even though in the times of insomnia, you might be feeling like you can't sleep. When you do finally get to sleep, keep a journal by your bedside so you can write down the things. Take a glass of water every night and put a fresh glass of water at your bedside. In the morning, throw it out. Repeat. Water is a natural conduit. It is a universal conduit. Your spirits come through water. They need it. When you're sleeping, that is when you are most susceptible to be able to even receive, seeing them not there, right? Acknowledging that there are, spirits and entities there. That's when you are in a more suggestive state. Okay? Take advantage of that. If they are showing you something, that's when you divine on it. Okay, I had this dream and I don't really know what it means. And that's when you pull cards on it. That's when you ask for a reading. We have to think we've been given certain things to let us know how to move. But because we get so caught up in the hustle and bustle, we think we don't have time, but we got time now. We have to make the time. We have to make the time. We can't just say, I ain't got time. We can't just go binge and watch, Netflix for 12 hours. We have to employ some discipline with ourselves so that way we can reconnect with all of these spiritual gifts and tools that the ancestors have given us. This is the time. This is the time. Squad up. Squad up. You know? Understand that people are not recognized in history for what they look like. They're recognized for what they do. They're recognized for who they are and who they rose, how they rose to the occasion in times of turmoil. We want to be on the right side of history with this, family. We do. And we can be. And we're so powerful. And we're so strong. We just may need to tighten up a little bit. And that's okay. I'm here to tell you that you can do it. That even if you feel like you don't have everything, that you have enough because you are who you are. And that is beautiful. And I love y'all so much. So with that being said, thank you so much for listening to the first season of the How to Be Magical podcast. It has been a wonderful season. I have loved every single episode. I have loved every single comment, DM, email, text that I've gotten. Thank you so much for encouraging me. Thank you so much for letting me feel that I can share who I am with you guys and feel comfortable. I want you to feel as comfortable as I do in this moment and beyond. So the next season of the How to Be Magical podcast is going to start in April. Okay, we are going to be talking about the ancestral mothers, okay, Zora Neale Hurston, Octavia E. Butler, and Toni Morrison. That is going to be our focus for the next 3 months because those are the women who I draw a lot of influence, inspiration, and motivation from. And I just wanted to share how their work has affected me, how it relates to my spiritual practice, how we could take some things away from it. It's going to be like a book club. We're going to have a great time. So just keep your eyes out for that. I will be starting a Patreon. There's certain things that I do want to talk about that I don't feel very comfortable talking about on live or in public anymore. To be fair, I'm going to keep it 100. I want to still keep talking. I want to keep building and deepening our relationship and our connections with each other. But I don't want to have certain things public anymore. And that is just how I've been, what I've been taking from the things that my dad have been telling me. I want to keep things a little bit more under wraps, but I still want to stay connected. So there will be a Patreon. You could join this. I'm going to have it where you can join for as little as $5 a month. Stop at any time. And then there's going to be different tiers. So just keep your eyes out for that. Thank you so much. Like I said, I love you all. This has been a truly magical season and a great experience. I'm so glad that you have all supported me in coming out and being more forthcoming about the journey and the process. So with that being said, I love you all so much. Take care of yourselves, hug your kids, call your mom, and take your spiritual baths, family. Wash your spiritual ass. Let's get it. Bye.